Helen, I heard Mom and Dad talking this morning. My 8-year-old granddaughter whispered. They said they're sending you away today, and taking all your money. That single sentence, spoken in the quiet hum of a Saturday morning, nearly made me drop the plate I was washing. I turned to little Lucy, still in her pajamas, her eyes big and serious. I placed a hand on her shoulder and forced a gentle smile, even as something cold settled in my stomach. Thank you for telling me, sweetheart, I said. Inside, my mind was racing. If what Lucy said was true, and I had no reason to doubt her, then it meant everything I feared was about to happen, and much faster than I thought. Let me rewind a little. 18 months ago, I lost my husband, George. A heart attack took him while he was tending the garden. Just like that, one moment we were planning our anniversary dinner, and the next I was planning a funeral. My son Adam and his wife Claire swooped in the very next day. Concerned voices. Hugging me too long. Telling me I shouldn't live alone. Come stay with us, Mom, Adam said. It's not safe for you to be alone in that big old house. First, I believed them. I sold the house George and I had lived in for 35 years. 3 bedrooms, a cozy kitchen, a back porch where we'd watch thunderstorms roll in for decades. I handed over the proceeds, $620,000, to help with the mortgage, Adam said. What I didn't know then was that I'd signed up to become their unpaid babysitter, their quiet tenant, and eventually their target. But Lucy's warning changed everything. While she colored at the dining table, I picked up my phone and called David Reiner, a lawyer I hadn't spoken to in years, but someone I trusted. We went to school together, and he had handled George's will. David, it's Helen Carter. I need to meet today. His tone shifted instantly. Everything all right? Let's just say I'm done pretending nothing's wrong. I ended the call and looked at Lucy, her little fingers smudged with crayons. She had no idea how much she had just saved me. I brushed her hair behind her ear. Lucy, how would you like to help Grandma with something very important today? She nodded. Is it a secret mission? I smiled. The most important one I've ever done. At 1 p.m. sharp, I grabbed my purse, where I now kept all my important documents since George passed, and told Lucy we were going for a walk. We strolled down to the corner cafe where David was waiting. He looked concerned as I explained what was going on. I told him about the house sale, the financial pressure, the isolation. But most of all, I told him what Lucy overheard that morning. They think I'm too old to notice, that I'll just go along with whatever they plan. They've forgotten who I used to be, I said. David's expression hardened. What do you want to do? I want to take everything back. Starting today. New will. Revoke the power of attorney. Move my accounts. Everything. We left the cafe and walked over to his office. Lucy stayed in the waiting area, drawing cats on sticky notes while I signed papers that would change the game. Your assets? David asked. I listed them. George's life insurance, $240,000. Savings, $130,000. Retirement, $110,000. Proceeds from the house, $620,000. Total $1 million, more than Adam and Claire ever suspected. You're going to need to move that money before they make their move, David said. I already called my bank. Everything is being transferred to a new account. By 3 p.m., we were at the Commerce First Credit Union across town, setting up a brand new set of accounts. Lucy sat with a juice box while I signed the final forms. Janet, the branch manager, looked over the totals and raised an eyebrow. You're moving everything today? Yes, all of it. That's a lot of money to move in one day. Not as risky as staying where it is, I said with a smile. By 3:45 we were back home. I sent Lucy to her room with a new coloring book and went to the kitchen to start dinner. I made Adam and Claire's favorite, slow-roasted chicken and garlic mashed potatoes. If this was going to be my last meal in this house, I was going to make it one to remember. I imagined their conversation that morning. Maybe they'd already booked a room at Rosewood Pines, a place I knew too well. I'd visited an old friend there once. It felt more like a waiting room for the end than a home. They probably planned to take me after dinner. Maybe they even thought they'd surprise me with how nice it was. By 4 o'clock, I heard the sound of their car in the driveway. The moment had arrived. I took off my apron, smoothed my skirt, and set the table. They had no idea what was waiting for them. When Adam and Claire walked in, their voices were louder than usual, too cheerful, too rehearsed. "Hey, Mom. Smells amazing in here," Adam called, hanging his keys on the hook like everything was normal. I smiled from the kitchen. "I made your favorite. Thought we could have one nice evening together." Claire peeked in, her smile tight. "Oh, how sweet. That was thoughtful." No mention of Lucy. No questions about how our day had been. They didn't even notice the slight change in my tone. That was their first mistake. We sat down to dinner. I served them with extra care, asking them about their day like nothing was wrong. They played along, laughing, complimenting the food, pretending we were just one happy family. But I watched the way Adam avoided eye contact. I noticed how Claire kept checking her phone under the table. They were nervous. Good. After we'd cleared the plates, Lucy gave me a hug and went off to bed without asking. She knew something important was about to happen. Then, just like I expected, Adam cleared his throat. "Mom, can we talk in the living room?" I followed them in and sat down in my usual spot, my chair by the window, the one with the worn armrest from years of reading beside George. Adam and Claire sat across from me on the couch. Claire crossed her legs. Adam rubbed his palms together. Then he said it. "Mom, Claire and I have been talking, and we think it's time to start thinking about a more supportive living arrangement for you." I tilted my head. "You mean like getting my own place?" Claire jumped in, her voice sickeningly sweet. "Well, not exactly. We visited a community today. It's lovely. They have activities, and you'd be around people your own age." "A retirement home?" Claire hesitated. "It's more of a life transition center." "And when would I be making this transition?" I asked calmly. Adam glanced at her, then back at me. "Tomorrow. We have an appointment set for 10 a.m. They waited, expecting me to fall apart, cry, beg. I just smiled. "Well," I said, "that's interesting, because I've been making a few plans of my own." Claire's face twitched. "What kind of plans?" "Why don't we call someone who can explain it better than I can?" I said, reaching for my phone. I pressed a button. "David? Yes, it's time. Come on over." Adam stood up. "Mom, what are you doing?" I stood too. Slowly, deliberately. "Taking care of business, sweetheart. Like you always told me to." Exactly 10 minutes later, the doorbell rang. David Reiner walked in, briefcase in hand, and greeted everyone with a polite nod. "Good evening, Mrs. Carter. Mr. and Mrs. Hill. David, would you explain to my son and daughter-in-law what we accomplished today?" He opened the briefcase, took out a neat stack of documents, and placed them on the coffee table. "As of this afternoon," he began, "Helen Carter has revoked the power of attorney previously granted to Adam Hill. She now has full independent control over all her legal and financial matters." Claire sat back stunned. David continued. "She has also moved all assets, including bank accounts, retirement funds, and savings, to a new institution. All access previously granted to family members has been removed." "What are you talking about?" Adam snapped. "We weren't doing anything wrong." "No?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "Then why was Lucy told I'd be sent away today, and that my money would be taken?" The color drained from Claire's face. Adam looked like he wanted to argue, but didn't know where to start. David pulled out one more document. "And this," he said, sliding it forward, "is a revised will. One that does not include either of you." Claire's voice cracked. "That's not fair. We've taken care of you." I laughed. "Just once. No. You've used me. For free childcare. For financial help. For convenience." Adam stood again. "Mom, you're being dramatic." "No, Adam. I was being quiet. There's a difference." David shut the briefcase. "Unless you have further legal questions, I think we're done here." They were too stunned to speak. I walked David to the door. "Thank you, David. I'll see you next week for the next phase." He smiled and nodded. They won't know what hit them. I returned to the living room. Adam and Claire were still seated, stunned. "I made tea," I said. "You're welcome to stay and drink it. Or you can leave now. Either way, I suggest you start packing." "Packing?" Claire said. Oh yes, I replied. Because I'm not leaving tomorrow. But you are. Their mouths fell open. I gave them the kind of smile only a grandmother can give, kind and terrifying all at once. Claire didn't speak again that night. Adam kept pacing the hallway, whispering to her, "She's bluffing. She can't kick us out." I just went about my evening routine like nothing unusual had happened. I poured myself a cup of chamomile tea, watered the succulents by the window, and made a list of what needed cleaning in the morning. I even left a towel on the couch for them, force of habit I suppose. But I didn't sleep. I lay in bed with the lamp on, my eyes fixed on the ceiling. Not because I was afraid, but because I was wide awake for the first time in months. Maybe years. By morning, Adam had left for a walk before the sun even came up. Claire stayed in their room, doors closed. At 9 a.m., I made Lucy her favorite breakfast, banana pancakes with cinnamon. She didn't say much, just kept glancing toward the hallway. When she was done, she whispered, "Are they really sending you away?" "Not anymore," I told her, kissing her forehead. At 11:30 a.m., I received a call from the sheriff's office. Just as I expected. "Mrs. Carter, this is Deputy Lowe. We received a report that you're mentally unfit to manage your affairs." "Ah, I see," I replied calmly. "And who filed this report?" "There's no name listed. Just a complaint and a request for wellness verification." "Would you like to come by?" I asked. "I'll be happy to offer you tea and medical records." He paused, surprised by my tone. "Yes, ma'am. That'd be best." He arrived half an hour later. I welcomed him with a full binder, recent medical exams, notes from my primary doctor, proof of independent financial activity. After 10 minutes, Deputy Lowe stood and shook my hand. "This is all we need. Sorry for the inconvenience." "No problem," I smiled. People do foolish things when they feel their control slipping. As he left, Claire peeked around the corner, pale as a sheet. "They tried to declare you unfit," she said, eyes wide. "You tell me," I said. "I'm sure the timing was just a coincidence." At 2 p.m. I made another call. This time it was to my real estate attorney. The deed to the house was still in my name. Adam and Claire had convinced me to move in, but never pushed to change ownership. Too afraid I'd catch on, too lazy to get paperwork done. That was their second mistake. By 5 p.m., a formal notice had been drafted. Adam and Claire Hill were to vacate the premises within 30 days. That evening I taped it to their bedroom door. No conversation. No argument. Just black ink on white paper. By the next morning, Adam confronted me in the kitchen. "You can't be serious," he said. "We've been living here for over a year." "For free," I reminded him. "We sold our car to help with expenses." "No," I corrected. "You sold your second car to buy Claire a smart fridge." I was there. Claire walked in, her voice shaky. "We gave up so much for you." "You gave up nothing," I said. "I sold my home. I paid off your debts. I watched your child. And I still bought my own groceries. Tell me, what exactly did you give up?" Silence. "Pack your things. You have 29 days left." Claire left the room. Adam stayed frozen, his jaw clenched. "You're making a mistake," he said. "No," I replied softly. "I'm correcting one." That night, I went to Lucy's room and sat on the edge of her bed. "Are you scared?" she asked. "No," I said. "Are you?" She hesitated. "Will I still see you?" I took her hand. "Always. This is your home. No one's sending you away." I tucked her in and turned off the light. Downstairs, I heard Adam slam a cabinet door. Let him. Let them both rage. The storm was theirs now, not mine. A week passed. Adam and Claire walked on eggshells, offering fake smiles and half-hearted apologies. They tried cooking dinner one night. Claire even folded laundry badly. I let them play their little game. Then one afternoon I noticed something strange. A bank envelope in the trash. My name on it. Torn in half. I fished it out and reassembled the pieces. They'd been trying to open my old accounts. The ones I'd closed. Claire had forged a signature. Poorly. That's when I knew. They weren't just desperate. They were dangerous. The next day, I went back to David's office with the envelope and everything I'd documented so far. He didn't even look surprised. "They're scrambling," he said. We're going to escalate this. Escalate how? Protective orders. If they keep pushing, we can pursue fraud charges. Claire left a paper trail. I don't want to ruin their lives, I said quietly. David looked me in the eye. You're not ruining anything. They did this. That night, Adam came into the kitchen while I was cleaning the stovetop. Can we talk? He asked. I didn't look up. About what? His voice dropped. We made mistakes. I turned slowly. You didn't make mistakes. You made plans. Claire walked in, hearing us. Helen, please. We're family. I laughed. Family? Family doesn't try to steal. Family doesn't forge documents. Family doesn't schedule someone's eviction behind their back. Adam sighed, then dropped the mask. You think you're clever? You think you've won? I stepped closer. No, Adam. I know I've won. And I didn't need to lie, steal, or fake kindness to do it. Claire was pale. Adam was furious. They left the kitchen without another word. The next morning, I drove to a small private school 3 neighborhoods over. I'd heard about it from a neighbor. Tuition wasn't cheap, but the environment was safe. Supportive. Lucy deserved that. I met with the administrator and explained that I was looking to sponsor a child. She looked surprised. Is this for your granddaughter? Yes. I'd like her enrolled as soon as possible. I didn't tell Adam or Claire. I didn't need their approval. That afternoon, I picked Lucy up from school and took her for ice cream. Do you like your school, sweetheart? She shrugged. It's okay. But my teacher yells a lot. What if I told you there's a better one? Her eyes lit up. For real? For real? I handed her a brochure. She looked through it wide-eyed. They have art class every day? They sure do. And just like that, my next plan was in motion. Back at the house, Claire confronted me when Lucy wasn't around. You don't get to make decisions about her education without us. I raised an eyebrow. You mean the child I've cared for every day since she could walk? The one you leave with me from 7 a.m. until bedtime? That's not the point, Claire snapped. She's our daughter. Then start acting like her mother. She stared at me, stunned. I left her there in the hallway. That evening, I received a letter from my accountant. The final transfer had gone through. Every cent was protected. Every legal gap closed. They couldn't touch a penny. But the biggest shift came 2 days later. I received a call from someone I hadn't spoken to in over a year. Sophie, my daughter. She moved across the country after a falling out with Adam. We hadn't spoken since George's funeral. But now here she was, voice trembling. Mom, she said. I heard what happened. Is it true? I paused. Depends what you heard. That Adam tried to. She stopped herself. To take everything? I didn't answer. Then she said, I'm coming home. You shouldn't go through this alone. I hung up and stared out the window for a long time. The family I thought I lost was starting to find its way back. Sophie arrived on a Tuesday afternoon. She stood at my front door, suitcase in hand, wearing that same navy coat she wore the day we said goodbye. Her eyes met mine, no apologies, no small talk. Just a long, quiet moment between 2 women who knew too much and said too little for far too long. I can sleep on the couch, she said. No, I replied. You're taking the guest room. Adam wasn't home when she arrived. Claire nearly dropped a mug when she saw her. I didn't know you were coming, Claire said flatly. That makes 2 of us, Sophie replied. We didn't tell Lucy right away. But by dinner she figured it out. Aunt Sophie, she said, eyes wide. You're back. Sophie smiled. I am. For a while. Lucy beamed. Best day ever. That night, for the first time in over a year, I laughed while doing the dishes. Sophie and I told old stories, shared old memories. Felt like breathing again. Then the knock came. At 9:45 p.m. I opened the door and found Adam standing there, shoulders tense, fists clenched. What is she doing here? Would you like to come in and ask her yourself? I said. He stepped inside, already fuming. I can't believe you'd let her stay here after everything. She's not the one who tried to have me committed. He opened his mouth, then closed it. Sophie appeared behind me. Nice to see you too, Adam. This isn't your house. No, she said. But it's not yours either. He looked like he wanted to scream. But he didn't. He turned and walked out without another word. That was the last time he raised his voice in my home. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. Claire stayed in her room. Adam came and went like a ghost. Sophie helped around the house. Lucy followed her everywhere. Then one morning I found an envelope taped to the front door. Inside was a single page. No letterhead. No signature. Just typed words. "We're not leaving. And you can't make us." I took it straight to David. "Let them bluff," he said. "In 3 weeks the court order takes effect. If they don't leave, law enforcement will escort them out. And it won't be subtle." "They're scared," I said. "They should be." But I didn't want a scene. I didn't want Lucy to see her parents dragged out of the house. So I offered them a way out. I called Adam. "Come to dinner tonight. Just you and Claire." He showed up with suspicion in his eyes. Claire looked like she hadn't slept in days. I served them a simple meal. Nothing fancy. No smiles. Just food and facts. "I don't want this to end with you both being forced out," I said. "You have 20 days. If you leave quietly, I won't pursue charges." Adam laughed. "You think you're some kind of queen now?" "No," I said. "I've always been the queen. You just never noticed." Claire finally broke. "We can't afford a new place. We have nothing." I looked her in the eye. "You had everything. I gave it to you. You burned it." She started to cry. I didn't comfort her. Sophie just sat there watching. After dinner, they left without another word. 2 days later, Claire knocked on my bedroom door. She looked smaller somehow. Not physically. Just reduced. "We found a place," she said. "It's not much, but it'll do. When are you leaving?" "End of next week." "Good." She nodded and turned away. No hug. No apology. I didn't expect one. They moved out on the 29th day. No drama. No yelling. Just silence, broken only by the sound of boxes being loaded into a borrowed van. Claire left first. Didn't even say goodbye. Adam stood at the door for a moment, holding a plastic container filled with tangled cords and unopened mail. He looked around the house like it was a memory he didn't recognize. "You really think you won?" he asked. "No," I replied. "I know I reclaimed what's mine." Then I closed the door behind him. I didn't watch them drive away. I went to the kitchen, poured myself a cup of coffee, and sat at the table where Lucy once colored that picture of a cat with 5 tails. That drawing still hung on the fridge. Still made me smile. Lucy adjusted quickly. Children have a way of sensing peace and running toward it. Sophie stayed. She didn't ask. She didn't need to. She made herself useful. Grocery lists, garden pruning, walking Lucy to her new school each morning. One day I asked her why she came back. She paused for a long time before answering. "Because I remembered who you were. And I realized I forgot for too long." I didn't need more than that. We rebuilt quietly. I started attending my old book club again. Went back to church. Even started volunteering at the local library on Wednesdays. People noticed. "You look brighter," one woman said after a Sunday service. I just smiled. Freedom looks good on anyone. Then came the letter. Not from Adam. Not from Claire. From Lucy. She handed it to me one night before bed. Cheeks red with embarrassment. "I wrote this at school," she said. "It was for a project. But I wanted you to have it." I opened the folded page. My hero is my grandma. Because she didn't let people be mean to her, even if they were family. Because she made everything safe again. Because she listens. Because she stayed. I didn't cry right away. I just held her close and whispered, "Thank you." That letter now sits in a frame on my nightstand. A reminder. Not of the fight, but of the victory. And not just mine. Lucy found safety. Sophie found her way back. And I found my voice. It wasn't about revenge. It was about respect.